There's no pressure to win games. You can actually go out there and get a lot of work done and beat up on them a little bit, and nobody gets mad at you. But now the competitor comes out. I mean, it's what it's all about. It's all about competing. I mean, as we want to drive our program on competition, and it's game week. Finally, I mean, it's finally we get to run into somebody else, and they're starting to get a little grumpy and angry with each other, which is about right. If they're not, then you better be worried. So it's fun. We got a good opponent coming in. Exciting week. Sunday was like Tuesday, so.
How will you measure success? What are the key?
Win. Holding the one less point. That's the ultimate goal. We win all of them by 1 point, we're going to be happy. I don't like to give statistical goals because if you watched the 2 games that were played on TV last night, shoot, in the last game, Hawaii against the Anti-200, it was over 1,100 yards total offense. I mean, that's a nightmare. I'm watching that thing going, oh my God. I mean, they're running up and down the field. You get 6 turnovers and lose. That goes against every football principle there is. And then the earlier game, Miami and Florida. Florida throws an interception with 4 minutes to go in the lead. I mean, there was a ton of missed tackles. I'm concerned about that just because of, you're tackling somebody else. We're used to where our guys, the moves that they make after 24 practices, we're used to how they react. So now we're going to go against somebody else. So we have goals and aspirations to do the things that we talk about nationally. Then we better get our minds right and play well. I hope we freaking stone them. That's what I go into every week. And when they get a yard, it drives me crazy. I hate it. So they understand that. Our guys understand it. I think they have a lot of the same mindset. Practice started off pretty good today. We did some stuff with the tempo stuff. Kent State, they try and go 1,000 miles an hour. They try and snap the ball about every 13 seconds. It's a well-oiled machine when they have it going. It's out of the Dino Babers family. Coach Lewis is in his second year, much like us in the program. He's trying to establish what they want. The tradition, they had in 2012, they had a great football team that won 11 games, and they're trying to match that success. And he's trying to build it from the ground up. I think he's done a great job. If you look at their coaching staff, he's hired a lot of young guys. They're all from Ohio, where they were able to go through all of the great high schools in Ohio and build up. They've really upgraded their talent over the last 2 years. They played a lot of young players last year. They've got a good quarterback, Woody Barrett, who's a transfer from Auburn. He was a 4-star kid out of high school. He's a big old kid, and he'll try and run you over, and they do some stuff that gives him a chance to be successful. They go fast. We've got a great challenge. The Joel Wood, the running back, ran for over 700 yards last year. They got another gentleman by the name of Craig Moore. I've been reading all their stuff online. I'm a Kent State stalker right now. Every article they got, I'm trying to figure out who's doing what and how they're doing it. And they've got a 5'9", 230-pound running back that's a redshirt freshman that I think can come in and cause some problems. So our boys have a great challenge ahead of them. And it's the coach's job to make sure they don't think it's going to be easy, because Kent State's going to be a good football team coming in here. And it'll be a lot of fun.
Coach, you talked about last season, your linebackers especially were a lot of youth across the board. How have you seen the transition and growth between year 1 and year 2 with these guys?
I've seen those guys. I think our freshmen, their sophomores, a lot of those guys are our leaders. Darren Butler's a captain. Colby Williams has been here for 3 years. He's a captain. The young linebackers, they played a ton of snaps last year. Most in the nation for a combined linebacker core of freshmen. They've got a lot of experience. Now they have some strength behind them through being a year in the weight room. So my expectation for them, they kind of know now they can't never satisfy me, because when they do something even minutely wrong, I bark down their throat, and they're starting to understand and take it the right way instead of getting their feelings hurt. We're ruining society by being so nice to everybody, but when they get their feelings hurt, they're starting to understand that they can get a little thick skin, and we'll be better for it. Merlin and Darian have done a nice job through fall camp, but we've got a long way to go. If those boys in the locker room think that we're really good, then I've done a terrible job coaching. And they know what we have to prove to be who we want to be. So they won't be arrogant. I promise you that. We'll find a way to make them confident, but they won't come in thinking they're better than they are. They haven't done anything yet.
From your perspective, what impresses you about Jaden Daniels and just his composure, especially as a freshman, a true freshman?
Leadership, the way he commands the huddle. I stand back there behind the defense, and I can sit in there and listen to him command the huddle, and they listen to him. He gets their attention when he's talking. When they're not on the ball, when they're over there on the sideline, if somebody's not paying attention, he'll call them out. And when they gravitate to somebody like that and he gets their attention, you have a chance. Now, I mean, the kid has a lot of pressure on him. There's a whole bunch of people around here putting a ton of expectations on him. Don't forget he's a true freshman. He's never played a Division I college football game with the speed he's going to face on Thursday night. Now, he's got a chance to be really special, and I think I said it when we recruited those guys, we recruited 3 really, really good quarterbacks. And I think one of them has a chance to be really, really elite. And if we don't ruin him early, he'll be really good. Now, we got to be good on defense, and if we're good on defense, guess what? Jaden Daniels is going to be a lot better. If we ain't worth it on defense, well, then he's going to have to score 60 points a game for us to win. And so we got to help him out. But I'm excited to see what he can do. But I don't have the expectations that he's going to go out there and light the world on fire in game 1 because he's a true freshman. And we did that last year with a bunch of kids on defense. I mean, Jermaine Lole did not play early on in the season because he wasn't ready. Now, the very beginning, there was different. He missed a morning meeting. So we didn't play him. Suspended him for a couple games. And then by the time he was ready, he took 3 or 4 games before he gets kind of used to the speed of the game. And then by the end of the season, he was pretty dang good. Ashari Croswell looked like we really screwed up in recruiting the first 4 weeks of the season. By the last 4, he's one of the best safeties in the league. So we need to be really careful with what pressure we put on Jaden Daniels. He's 18 and never played a Division I football game. It's different now. You stand down on the sideline, they're big and they're mean and nasty and they try and kill you. And he's skinny and they're going to try and kill him. And so he knows what's coming, and we got to protect him, and our side of the ball has to do their job.
Okay, Danny, do you feel it's a different vibe this year that you don't have to play that many freshmen, and it's really like a year older, year wiser kind of mentality compared to last year?
I think the leadership to what our expectation is better. 1 year ago today, I had no idea what we were getting into. We had practiced, and they had done some things in practice. We were still having trouble getting lined up. They didn't understand how hard I wanted them to play. Some of the ones that were here through spring ball did. I didn't know if we were going to be able to make them punt one time in the UTSA game. I honestly had no idea. And I think we got really lucky when Shannon intercepted that ball on the second play. And all of a sudden they started to believe that all this magic worked. Okay? And then week 3 came, and there was no magic. The magic is them. And I think because they have a year into it, they understand what we're doing better. They understand where the puzzle pieces fit better. They're faster, they're stronger, they play harder, they're in better shape. So I think that lends you to have a chance to be more successful than we were last year. We weren't very good last year. And we have a long way to go. For my expectation of what I think we can do, we got a long way to go. And they understand what it is. Now we got to coach them to get in there and play good.
You mentioned the tackling. Did you guys just go live contact that during that short stretch of time? Was that the whole time you guys tackled?
In live 11-on-11 stuff, yes. Now, on defense, we did a lot of live tackling in individual position drills. We don't tackle the offensive guys here very much. We do everything up high thud to protect their legs, but we did a lot of and it's been a little different for me doing that, which I think we're a little bit fresher. If you look back, go back into the history buff of this stuff. St. John's University in Minnesota, okay, Division III football program. In the last 30 years, they've been in the semifinals or finals 27 of the last 30. They wear full pads on game day only. That's it, all year. They wear full pads 12 times, and if they make it to the playoffs and the championship, 14. And so if you can do that and be as good as them, You either have really, really good players that are better than everybody else and it doesn't matter what you do, or you're doing something right and teaching them tracking angle stuff. So I spent a couple days with the defense coordinator at St. John's trying to figure out, okay, what are you guys doing that is being successful? And I got a lot of really good stuff, position-wise, tracking-wise. And then in the spring, our rugby coach here from Arizona State, we did some stuff tracking that they do, some rugby tackling stuff. And then you watch other the Seahawk tackling and all that stuff. There's a lot of really good things out there that are really good for the game of football because they get your head out of everything. And the St. John's philosophy is we're going to be fresh. Now, there are some other disadvantages. It gets dark there at like 4 in the afternoon, and it's a very high academic institution, so they get to practice for about 45 minutes. So they don't get to do a whole lot. And they're still making it to the championships every year. So I took as much out of that. I mean, I think seeking knowledge, the more you can get. So the way we play, the expectation of how hard we play, we're going to have guys miss, the first and second guy miss, and I'm okay with that. The third and fourth guy better kill him. And that's the expectation. So run to the ball, be mean and nasty, and see what happens. He came out here, actually. He came out here and spent 2 days. During the spring. It was awesome.
So is it a concern going into a game where you haven't had that type of tackling?
I think I'm concerned going into every game how we're going to tackle. The part of the practice stuff that doesn't bother me. It's if they play hard and we coach the angles right and the tracking, that's not an issue. And playing hard eliminates missed tackles. 3 and 4 guys there, they can't make them all miss. If you don't stop your feet and run through them, they can't make them all miss. Now, we don't break down around here. I don't teach that. I want somebody to fly and run. If there's a wall right there, run into them. And they've got to understand that that's the tempo. And when everybody's doing that, the athletes, they're too good these days. If you try and slow down and match their footwork, you got no chance. Break down on a guy like Benjamin, he's going to embarrass you. So we show our guys all that stuff. I mean, run inside out, get everybody there, and when you get there, hang on, see what happens. Cause a turnover, be around the ball, we'll get it.
I asked Rob to talk about his opinion about back football because ASU doesn't play in that team that often. Well, what are your thoughts on the caliber of football from that conference? I
think it's outstanding. Being from my previous school, we had a lot of guys that played crossover games. So I've seen a lot. Of Toledo. Dino Babers is one of my really good friends. And when he was at Bowling Green, exchanged some tape with them. I think it's really, really innovative. If you look like he's from the Dino Babers tree, Sean Lewis is. They have to give their kids, very similar to what we did at San Diego State, they have to give their kids something to be able to compete at a higher level. Well, they've decided offensively, schematically, they're going to go 1,000 miles an hour and see if they can score as many points as they can score. And they're very well coached. If you watch, get on YouTube, the receivers catch the ball, they sprint the ball over to the referee, they hand it to him, and then they jog and get lined up. Your guys are usually still trying to pick themselves up off the ground, and it detracts from what we teach. I want all 11 of them to be there and try and jump on the pile, and the more you land on them, by the end of the game, it hurts. Well, you got a wide receiver who saw he's not going to make the play, but he turns around and he sprints to get lines up, and you got a corner on the other side of the field, he's got to run all the way over there and get lined up. It takes a lot of extra energy. That's an advantage they have. It's smart by them. Okay, they're going to be outmatched a little bit when they play. Look, if you look at their schedule, they come here and play us. They play Kennesaw State week 2, who's a triple option team who is really good, and trying to defend the triple option, it's no fun. And then they got Auburn and Wisconsin. So they have to give their kids something to help them be competitive. And they're a really good football team, and they're going to come in here. They're going to be on high and think, you know what, we're going to go down there, we're going to beat Arizona State. So, we've got that sign on there, abandon hope, all ye who enter here. Well, we better make them believe in it. I wish, I looked at the weather forecast, it's like 104, I wish it was 120.
You talked a lot about the sophomores that you're relying on.
Yes.
Is that typically the year that you see the biggest jump, like freshman to sophomore?
No, I think it's sophomore to junior.
Really?
I think the speed. You get bigger, you get faster, you get stronger. You identify the game of football better. You spend more time in the meeting room. See, these guys, when we get them in college, we get them for 4 hours a day, we get them 20 hours a week. The more meeting time we have, the better. You can get so much better mentally and be better on the field if you pay attention to meeting and if the time is structured right. In the fall, in the spring now, we get 8 hours a week, so we can get them 2 hours in the classroom. You can get so much better if you use that time appropriately, okay? So now you've got 2 years of meeting time. By the time those kids are juniors, they start to max out between sophomore and junior year, and then senior year, usually they plateau because all the expectations they have. Now you got some that just have a high ceiling and keep going. But your 3rd year, you should be at your peak performance and then build on it after that. So I think those guys have a lot of upside, but they still have a lot of upside to keep going. And I mean, we're trying to build something around here. It's a process, and they still. I mean, I'm gonna keep beating it in their head. Play hard, fly around, be mean and nasty, and fly around. And now that they understand what I'm talking about, and we've been able to show stuff, proof of why things work. I mean, here's a perfect example in the meeting room today. I mean, I stayed up last night and watched that game on the very last play of the game, 10 seconds left to go. Okay, Hawaii runs a stunt, what we call here, where the nose tackle loops out, like DJ Davidson. He runs past the quarterback. He'll take, scrambles, he's coming down the field. That nose tackle who ran is sprinting his tail off, okay? There's a linebacker that's jogging, has a pretty good angle. He sees that that Khalil Tate's gonna break, so he tries to speed up. Dives, doesn't make the play. 49, the nose tackle, he's still flying down the field, okay? Safety comes in from the outside, he hits Khalil on the 1 yard line. Khalil has all the momentum going forward. The nose tackle splats him from behind. It's down on the 1 yard. They win because a guy 40 yards away from the play busted his tail. And when I first got here, we would throw a ball 60 yards down the field, and I'm screaming at the nose tackle, "What are you doing? Run, go." I'm chasing him, pushing him from behind, knocking him down. And they were looking at me like, "Coach, I ain't ever gonna make that play. Why do I need to do this?" Because you don't know when you're gonna make an impact. You don't know. If your muscle memory is every time you turn and run, they run a receiver screen, guess what? Bam, you hit him right in the mouth. He don't see it coming. That's the expectation they've got to come to. And when you get tape like that to show it to them, I'm here it is. Poor Dan Wayne. Midnight last night, my phone. "Hey, I need the Hawaii game for tomorrow morning's meeting." I told you I wear these guys out, so they should have never gave me their cell phone. And so we had it. They do a great job. They got it. Coach Edwards. I come in all fired up, 5 o'clock this morning, telling Coach Edwards, "Did you see?" We talk about it, we show it to the team, we show it to the defense. We show every chance you get. See, when you see somebody have success doing what we want to do, playing hard, I thought Hawaii played pretty hard, and they won. So that's the expectation.
Jack Jones progressing in the new system.
Coming, a lot further along than what I anticipated. Here we go, Jerry, Magic Beans. They told me 4 weeks when he got here. He was able to take some reps with the 1s and 2s today. Now he's really sore. So you got to give Jack Jones a lot of credit for how tough he is, because they did an MRI, all that stuff. There was some pretty severe stuff in there, swollen, and he's able to fight through it. I think that's a very positive sign. We've got some kids that are fighting through some of those things. You have oftentimes that a kid gets an inch, they're going to take it and take time off. I can't go, my ankle hurts. I need to be 100%. Well, I got bad news for these guys. After Thursday, ain't none of them going to be 100%, and if they are, then we stink. Because the football is a mean, nasty game, and you get beat up week after week after week, and the strong survive. And the ones that you can convince that they're mentally fight through all that stuff, the better football team you have. And so I think Jack gives us, a lot of guys have seen what he's fighting through. Now, is he where he was at the end of his last time playing? Not yet. He's still not quite in shape. He's still lacking a little bit. You can see his still slowing down a little bit. There's a chance he could play on Thursday night. We'll see over the next 2 days how he progresses a little bit more. But I'm going to give him credit more so than Jerry, because he's only been here for a couple weeks. He must have some magic beans in his pocket, because he's a lot further along than we thought. So and the other thing is he's in there every day, morning, night, trying to get as much treatment as he can. I think he's wearing those guys out, which I love. So that's good.
What's your take on the improvement of Mike Ortiz?
I think it's awesome. When that young man, now he committed to a previous staff, and we honored the commitment, and I had a good conversation with him and his mom when they came back out. They'd already used their official visit, but they flew back out here because they wanted to meet the new coaches. And I had a really good meeting with his mom, and I told her my expectation and where I thought Michael Matus fit in our program. And for a mom who loves her son, and then you have this new coach that comes in and lays down the law of what his expectation is, and it may not have fit into what they thought they were getting into. And she looked me in the eye and she said, "Coach, it's done. He'll be ready." I said, "I need him to be up 260 pounds by the time we start the 2019 season." He weighed 261 pounds this morning. And he did it right. He came in at 233. And there's some kids that can carry that weight. There's some kids that ruins them. He has busted his tail and he's done it the right way. It's been about a pound a week, and I've been hounding him since we got back in January. "Where you at, Mike?" 248. "Where you at, Mike?" 248. "Where you at, Mike?" 247. "You're going the wrong way, Mike." I mean, every day. And he got up to 260, and he comes and tells me now every day what his weight is. I don't even have to ask. And the fact that he's been able to maintain that through camp, because he's got some quick twitch stuff that you can't teach. And he gives us an ability to do some stuff on third down with him and Jermaine in the game that we didn't have last year. And he's from a really good football program in Katy, Texas, where they treat him the same way I do. They have the same beliefs. They're mean and nasty, and they make him run through walls. And so he only knows one way. So when I bat my eye, I mean, he don't even bat an eye when I get upset or when I tell him he ain't going hard enough. He gets it. And so I'm excited to see him play. I mean, he's hungry. He didn't get to play last year. And so he's chomping at the bit to get in the game. So I'm really excited to see what he can do. We got 7 guys up front that I think can rotate. We'll see how productive they are. And then as the productivity comes, we'll determine their roles. I think we've got some that have a chance to be pretty good. Got to get pressure on the quarterback. I mean, our big thing, we made a big emphasis this year. We were 42% on third down last year. That's the worst I've had in my coaching career, 42%. That's not very good. It's terrible, as a matter of fact. It's almost 50% of the time they're completing they're converting a third down. You need to be around 30% to be good on defense. 2 minute. We gave up too many plays in 2 minute last year. I won't go through all of them right now, but the ones that glaring to me, SC, you can't ever give up a 40-yard touchdown on 4th and 5. Learning experience. That was my fault. That's not Cam Phillips' fault. But now if it happens to him, I'm going to choke him out because it's his fault. He understands the expectation. He knows what the situation is now, so I don't see it happening. It'll never happen to him again. So there's been a big emphasis on camp through that to make sure we understand the situation. Do they need a field goal? Do they need a touchdown? Is it the end of the half? What can we give up? What we can't give up? I mean, if they need a field goal, you can't let them get a yard. They didn't understand that last year. Last year it was, okay, we're trying to do so much stuff. We're calling regular defenses. We're teaching. We're talking about it. Now we got a full offseason of it. They understand it. So the situational defense, it will be so much better. I think Coach Edwards does a great job. We do so many situations around here. The kids are prepared for everything. And so I think those are the things that we really want to focus on and see a big improvement.
Thanks, Danny.
Awesome. Thank you guys. We'll see you on Thursday.